Here's another screencast from me. It'll be as sharp as a Japanese sword. This screencast is about how to use TfEL Compass. First of all, you need to log on to LearnLink. Learnlink.sa.edu.au. Put your credentials in. Once you put your credentials in, you can go into your LearnLink area. Down the bottom is TfEL Compass. TfEL Compass is a tool that you can use to evaluate your teaching and having a look at it. Go to My Surveys and you can have a look at the different surveys you've composed. I've actually had one go at it and used a Year 8 template to create a survey. It was probably too difficult and too long, and I've learnt something about that. I'd like to show you a little video clip of Gilly Street Primary about how they've used TfEL Compass and why they've done it. So I think this is really good. I'll include this in a Word document that I'll give you.
My intention for using Compass is all about getting student feedback on what's happening in our classroom. I started off by explaining to the kids that I genuinely wanted their honest feedback and why and how I intended to use it. And I also let them know that it would be anonymous. So I got the feedback at the end of the term. I sat down and had a good look at it. I looked at the graphs as well as the individual responses to the open-ended questions or the explanations to the domain-related questions. And I sort of compiled them into some priorities for me to try and work towards. The feedback really supported designing lessons for students that meet all of those needs for them. Their comments, their feedback that they gave me just affirms and reaffirms their need to have a voice and a say in their learning and the learning outcomes that they have.
Well, I really value the student feedback. I find it can help me work out what I'm doing well and where I need to improve.
We get a say.
It made you feel appreciated. I felt safe because I knew it was like anonymous and stuff like that.
Because some people like have things to say that they just can't say to their teacher face on, and it helps. The survey helps to just say what you need to say, but you don't have to say it was you.
What I liked about the Compass was it has all the questions that relate to the different domains in TfEL ready for you, and you can select the particular questions or domains that you want, and you can also limit the number of questions. You can target it at a different age group, and also you can still add in your own open-ended questions. So you can get really specific feedback where you want to.
There was some easy questions, but there were like other questions that you had to like really think about.
I also liked how like you could write an answer so like you can get into detail about it.
I also tell my kids that I want to be the best teacher I can be, just like I want them to be the best student they can be. And that requires a relationship between us where there's the ebb and flow of feedback.
As people have given her feedback, I've seen that she's improved in some areas, and I feel like I could do that. It gives, as I said before, it gives students an opportunity to participate in their learning and helps teachers understand their students well.
The next TfEL Compass tutorial I'd like to show you is the one regarding how to create a survey. Probably does it better than I can. Well, it does better than I can, so I'll just show you this one. It's from DECT. Surprisingly, it's good.
Before creating a survey, let's assume that you have thought through the purpose of using the TfEL Compass, what you hope to gain from the feedback, and who you will seek feedback from. To create a new survey,
We'll restart that after some noise.
Go to My Surveys. This shows your dashboard, which lists every TfEL Compass survey that you create. Your dashboard will be blank if you are new to the TfEL Compass. Click Create a New Survey, You can then choose from different templates that provide feedback on different parts of the TEFL framework. It is important to be clear about what you want feedback on, so take the time to consider which template is most appropriate. When you become more experienced in using the TEFL Compass, you may want to select template 6. This allows you to choose specific TEFL domains or elements for feedback, select a percentage of questions for participants to answer, for example 25%, 50% or 75%, and provide the option for participants to skip questions that they don't have enough information to answer. In this example, we'll select template 2 to ascertain if students' experience of the learning environment matches the teacher's intent to create safe conditions for rigorous learning. In the pop-up box, give your survey a unique name, one that will remind you of why you used it and with whom at that particular time. For example, Year 8 Mathematics Learning Environment, Term 3. By default, the survey remains open for 1 month, but you can set a completion date that suits you. Your school will automatically appear. You will now be on the survey configuration instructions page. Before completing this, take some time to think again about who you will ask for feedback. This can be trusted colleagues, a leader or line manager, older students, which are in years 9 to 12 and possibly the middle years, younger students, which are in middle and upper primary school, and early years students, which is the first few years of school. You can also seek feedback from an external observer. Everyone will bring new information about your teaching. The more you seek feedback from different sources, the richer your feedback will be. You can tailor each survey to match your purpose and audience. Firstly, you can personalize the welcome message for survey participants. In this example, we have prepared a welcome message for trusted colleagues and older students. This has been created on a separate document because the TEFL Compass does not have a spell check facility. Survey participants will see the welcome message when they start the survey that you create. Secondly, you can create open-ended questions to get specific responses about your teaching and student learning. There are sample open-ended questions in the appendix of the TEFL Compass Teacher Guide, but the best questions are those created with colleagues to suit your context. Take the time to consider what you really want to find out from students. You may want to trial some questions with a small group of students to check that their interpretation of the questions matches your intent. In this example, we have prepared 2 open-ended questions for older students. One will be asked before the survey, the other will be asked after the survey. Once you've configured the survey, select Finish. You will be taken to an Access Codes and URLs page. The system automatically generates web addresses that are specific for each survey participant group. You can view the questions by clicking on the survey web address. In this example, we can see how the Trusted Colleague survey questions will appear. Once you're happy with the survey questions, email the survey web address to the survey participants. If the participants do not have email, for example very young students, you will need to set up the surveys on a PC or iPad for the students to complete. The survey will also now appear on your dashboard. Your feedback is kept safe so you can analyse the feedback from any survey and see how your practice develops over time. You can also delete any surveys that you no longer need.
Again, I'd like to show you another small video about TfEL Compass tutorial. It's about polar maps and how you can interpret them. Again, it's quite good. So if we can just watch this.
There are a number of ways to view and interrogate feedback data on the TfEL Compass. The polar map provides the broadest overview of your feedback. Remember that feedback is based on your own and others' perception of your teaching practice. So although the richness of the feedback increases with the number and range of people that provide it, it may not be 100% representative of your teaching practice. The polar map is still invaluable because it immediately highlights your perceived strengths and areas for development. The patterns you see may surprise you, which is the beauty of seeking feedback from different groups of people. You can dig deeper into the underlying reasons for your feedback in the open-ended questions, quality tests, and comments subpages. These can be accessed from the dashboard of a selected survey. To view the polar map, first click on My Surveys and select the survey that you want to view from your dashboard. In this example, we will view a survey named Interpreting the Data. If we click on Administration and Summary from the drop-down menu, we can see when the survey was completed, what survey template was used, and the number of responses from different survey participants. We can load the polar map by clicking on Survey Data and selecting Polar Maps from the drop-down menu. In this example, we can immediately see that this teacher's practice appears to be highly developed for developing democratic relationships and building a community of learners, and less developed in developing expert learners and personalizing and connecting learning. To the right-hand side of the polar map, there is a polar map interpretation graphic. Let's interpret each part of the TfEL element, which is an individual wedge on the polar map. The center of the polar map indicates the lowest level of development, and the outer circle represents the highest level of development. All feedback ratings fall between the outer and inner grey lines. The outer and inner light bands show the highest and lowest 25% of ratings respectively. The dark band shows where 50% of the ratings fall. A narrower band means the perception of the teacher's practice is more consistent across the survey participants. In this example, the band is wide for TfEL element 2.1, Develop Democratic Relationships. This indicates that survey participants have different experiences of this TfEL element in the learning environment created by the teacher. Conversely, the band is narrow for TfEL element 4.1, Build on Learners' Understandings, indicating the ratings are more aligned. Why is this interesting? A narrow band and low rating means that everyone who provided feedback agrees that this area of the teacher's practice needs developing. The white line within the dark band shows the median rating. This is the middle score, so 50% of ratings fall above the white line and 50% of ratings fall below the white line. The median forms the basis of the practice suggestions. You can view the practice suggestions by clicking on the dark band in any element. This is where the TfEL Compass personalizes the TfEL framework for you, because the practice suggestions are based on the feedback. In this example, let's look at how the teacher develops democratic relationships. The right-hand side of the polar map describes the essence of the element, which is the idea at the heart of this element. In this example, the essence of developed democratic relationships is the teacher shares power with students, recognizing it as a fundamental condition for learning. The indicators are actions or signs of this TfEL element being enacted. You can dig deeper into each element by clicking on the SA TfEL Framework Guide hyperlink, which will take you to the relevant pages of the TfEL Guide for more specific actions. Below you can see the feedback narrative and general practice suggestions. The combined feedback shows that this teacher develops democratic relationships well. Don't be discouraged if some feedback shows low ratings. Remember that feedback is perception data. Use the TfEL Compass data to start a conversation with students and colleagues, perhaps in a PLC setting, about student learning and your teaching. Develop constructive suggestions about what you can do to make a difference. You can then survey again after implementing some practice suggestions to monitor your development.
So there you go. You've got a lot of data that you can you've seen there. You can gather and do that. I think the best thing is just to have a go. My mistake was that I did it with senior secondary students, and there was too many questions for my year 8. So I'd suggest a middle school survey and limit the number of questions. So thanks, and over to you.